All right, welcome to the Ourcraft Minecraft Podcast. Although I keep saying that, but I've rebranded it, so I need to stop introducing it as the Ourcraft the Minecraft Podcast. It's now the Complex Podcast. I'm joined today by three individuals, which is more than we usually have on the podcast.
I think I should count as two, based upon my weight and also what's going on up in my head.
Well, that's
no. You count as three because of your weight, but what's going on in your head is a negative, so it.
Well, I figured you'd be disinclined to give me the two, so I figured I'll just present an overwhelming amount of facts, or maybe I even count as two, at least.
Just let that joke hang there for a minute. All right. Anyway, while I boot up Minecraft here and load into our server, has anyone heard about what's going on with Facebook?
I don't really use it.
The thing that since they rebranded as Meta and everyone started hating them.
I'm gonna need a little bit more. I don't know anything that's happening. So
All right.
At the beginning.
So are we gonna start with that meta thing? We could start with the meta thing.
Start somewhere. Okay.
All right. So Mark Zuckerberg decided he wants to put everyone in the Matrix. So he rebranded his company as Meta instead of Facebook. Now, the website is still known as Facebook, but the company which owns it is no longer Facebook Incorporated, but Meta.
Okay, so why is that a problem for people? It's not like he changed the name of the app.
Well, it's more so that he just sort of openly admitted that he wanted to put everyone in the Matrix. That was the issue people had, really.
But also
Like
the
he's being
problem
a
is,
nerd.
I want to put it.
No, then there was also the fact that there were a few other companies that already had the name Meta.
Oh,
And
well,
so
that would be a
when
problem.
Facebook changed their company name, they then sued all of the companies that already had the name Meta.
Yeah, but didn't they lose that?
I don't know.
It's a bit like
honestly, no.
that reminds me of another story. There's a streamer by the
I forgot. I needed tridents.
there's a streamer. She's part of the Ourcraft, but since 2010 or whenever she she's used this handle since she started streaming, and it was Squid Games or something like that.
Guys,
And then of course the hit Netflix show came out.
Oof, I didn't see Zuckerberg's lawyer in court. Why should you have the name Meta? Your Honor, my client is a reptilian, and also he wants it. I rest my case.
And also, money.
Also,
Mark's not a reptilian. He is a robot. He is one of my people.
Oh, it's nighttime. It's
you've seen his
nighttime.
eyes.
Just about. We need to get with the sleeping.
Just see that photo of him in his living room, and there's just a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on a shelf behind him.
Oh yeah, you gotta apply that to his skin twice daily to keep it moist.
Yeah.
How do you do, fellow humans?
It has to contain the molasses, brown sugar, and various spices. Otherwise, he doesn't have the same moisturizing effect.
Keep his skin keep it moist so it doesn't look scaly,
This is delicious. What do you call this beverage, human? Barbecue sauce, and it's not a drink. I shall have more.
I just love that. Hello, fellow humies.
Oh my goodness, why is it so tall?
Genetics.
Alright.
I don't know why I expected it to be shorter.
It reminds me of a
Well, I don't know why
clip
you
from
expected
Overly
that either.
Sarcastic Productions, where it's like, "How do you do, fellow humans? Are you enjoying having skin today?"
Oh my god, what was that? What's that from?
Overly Sarcastic Productions, I believe.
They
Enjoy my skin today. As a matter of fact, I am. Thanks for asking.
Well, I was until you worded it
There's
that
a-
way.
I'll just keep my internal. No. So you guys want to talk about body horror? All right.
No.
The other day, I literally sat in bed staring at the ceiling thinking about this at night. So I'm like, I work at
Go
Amazon,
to sleep.
and I'm on like what we call the pick line or whatever. So like, it doesn't really matter. But there's a guy and he's sorting packages, and he looks at me and he says, there's like this look of distress on his face. And I'm like, "Hey, you okay, man?" He's like, "I don't know, like my kidney feels dry," and
What?
my brain, I kid you not, my brain and I exploded. I was like, "Dog, what do you mean your kidney feels dry? What does that mean?" He's like, "I don't know, either that my spleen or something feels dry." I was like, "What does that?" Like, I hear what you're saying. I don't understand, but I can't even comprehend what you're saying. That is the most terrifying thing I've ever heard anyone ever say ever. He's like, "I can feel it crinkle." I was like, I need you to stop. As I sat in bed, I just look over at my wife, and I'm like, "Emily, I hate to do this to you, but I have to talk about this because I can't stop thinking about it." Today, a guy told me his kidney felt dry, and she was like, "What?" I just like trying to imagine that. That was mind melting. I was like, of all the things, like, I can't think of a worse fate.
Try kid.
I was like, what is that? What's that? And then the next day, I think he was baked out his mind, is what it was. Because I looked over to the person next to him, I was like, "Yo, this dude just told me his kidney was dry." And they're like, "Oh, he's high." So, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I work with
that's-
interesting people.
That's Dry Daniel. He says something like that
bad.
at least once a week.
It's dry, Daniel. It was just like, he's like, "I'm thirsty" or something. I don't
It's
know.
very different from Cooler Daniel.
Guys,
Whew.
completely unrelated note. Take a look at that photo I just sent.
Look at this
That's what I
photograph.
can see right now. I'm in a tree, but I'm not dying. And it's very concerning.
My kidney feels dry. Still keeps me up at night.
I love how you started this conversation. It's like,
I just
see-
want you to know that your kidney cannot
like-
be dry if you're alive.
I was like, you cannot feel. But then your
I mean,
mind.
there
the worst part
is a
your
point in
mind.
time where you can feel your kidneys.
I feel it in
You
my...
can't normally. If there's
Well,
something,
you
if there's
don't
something wrong with them,
I
then
feel
yes,
it in
you
my
can feel your kidneys.
jellies.
I mean, I'm just like, what does that mean? Does it mean like you bent over and you felt your kidney crinkle? Like, what does that mean? I was just like,
I think it means
Is
he
it like,
needed
is
to
it like
wet
an
his
old
whistle.
timer who's...
He needed some
Oh.
good old blackout stout.
oh, yeah, something.
Guys, I drank my whole pot of
An
tea.
exorcist, maybe, I don't know.
Exorcist.
At least say your kidney feels dry.
Who do we call? I don't know, an ambulance, a priest, both.
The funny farm.
Police. So,
Funny Farm's a good bet.
I think at some point in the podcast,
Yep.
we should talk about swatting. I know we're late to the party, but I don't know why. Like, I know swatting was a thing, but I recently ran across like an article about a guy who got killed. Like I don't know all all like the details. People probably will know if anyone even watches this. He basically like these people were like, make a long story short, some people on stream were mad at some other dude, and then they were like, we're gonna SWAT you. He's like, do it, sissies, and then he gave them a fake address, what ended up being a real address for somebody else. So the guy whose address that they gave hears something, I guess, goes out to the front door, opens it, and then they shoot him in the head, and he dies.
Yeah, I will say that the SWAT teams have been getting a lot better at identifying fake calls, but it is now considered attempted murder. It's not. They don't play with it. They don't play with it anymore.
No, you should definitely.
If they catch you swatting somebody, it is attempted murder. That is the charge.
Well, the worst part is a bunch of people got away with it because this thing involved at least 3 people. So some random dude. Wow, this is interesting. Some random dude who's known for swatting, and then 3 people who are were streaming or whatever, or at least one streamer and 2 other people. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, what is that? Is that a lack of intelligence? Is that just because I want to know the philosophy, right? Is it the lack of intelligence? Is it not caring? Is it just sheer immaturity? What is it?
Probably a mix of several different things.
I mean, yeah, but it's got to be. I imagine it's one over the other because it's maybe even wow, I want it to be funny if that guy died, because it's hard to wrap your mind around.
Speaking of killing people, what actually happened with Facebook recently? The Meta thing's old news, if we're gonna be honest. I just had to explain it because apparently,
sorry,
somebody.
I'm behind the times, man.
We got a bunch of boomers in this chat. You need to take things slow with your techno babble.
This is why I pretend not to be the oldest person in chat.
Right. Yep.
Then it's Comrade. I'm not even the oldest person here. We're second oldest person here. I just don't live in the same world, I guess.
No, you are
That
the
must be
second.
nice.
You are the second youngest person in this chat, I believe.
I know. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point.
But
I've lost my crafting table.
all right. So, as we know, Russia has been a real bad country lately.
Naughty boy.
Real naughty. Real naughty. Anyway, so apparently this warrants Facebook lifting their ban on calling for the death of anybody else on the platform, as long as you're talking about Vladimir Putin, or any member of the Russian military.
Okay.
Yep. Anyway,
Thank you, tech overlords. I'm so very glad that you are now getting involved in politics.
Anyway, so that goes back to my proposition that we should just round up anybody with Russian heritage and put them in some sort of camp until this whole thing with Russia blows over, because, they share any amount of blood relation. We can't trust them.
Except the bad point
All
where
right, I'm
America
liking where
is
this
made from
conversation's going.
every other country.
Okay, Shadow, I'm going to need you to calm down for just a second and realize that was sarcasm.
I'm not
Because,
upset.
America.
Why did you assume that I was upset?
Hey, put the
Because it
knife down.
sounded as if you didn't understand that he was joking.
No, I did.
I was
Okay.
I was in fact making a reference to the Japanese internment camps of World War II. Why did we lock them up and not the Germans?
Because
the Japanese messed with our boats.
Ah, the Japanese messed with our boats.
Yeah.
Guilt by
Oh, that,
association.
That the Germans, you're talking a huge proportion of the population was from Germany. So, by all means.
Anyway.
Speaking of the boats.
It really has turned into an ethnic hate amongst a certain group of people for all people Russian for some reason.
What were you saying, Josh?
The boats, the boats at Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
One of them, it was it the USS Nevada, I believe? Yes. The USS Nevada. First Super Dreadnought class battleship became known as the Unsinkable Ship. It was the first boat to be hit on the attack on Pearl Harbor. The first to return fire in that same instance. It took serious damage, but intentionally beached itself so it wouldn't sink. It was then repaired, refitted, took part in that entire campaign all the way up until D-Day. And the thing just refused to die under any circumstances.
That's probably more because they got lucky than anything else.
No. I haven't finished the story. After about 40 years, the ship was basically, it was due to be retired. And America looked around and went, well, what do we do with this incredibly powerful, nigh unsinkable boat that we've made? Do we want to turn it into a floating museum like all the other ones? Nah. There's an unsinkable ship that exists out there, and we're going to take it down. I don't care if it's ours. We're going to sink it for the street cred. So America painted it bright neon orange and then dropped a small nuclear bomb on it in order to quote unquote test what would happen. And here's why it really gets the reputation.
It
didn't sink.
You okay?
Wow.
Now we just
We
have
dropped a nuclear bomb on it,
Yes, ma'am.
and it didn't sink.
Wow.
now we just have mutant super boats running around.
No.
That's no good.
Because, well, we've already nuked it once. How do we take it down now? Double tap, hit it again. They went back and dropped another nuclear bomb on it. But apparently this thing is made out of adamantium Nokia phones. And it pulled the same maneuver that they taught us in high school when it came to drugs. Just say no. And so after 2 nuclear bombs, the thing was still floating. And they had to bring in the USS Iowa and a few destroyers to shell the thing for 5 days. Because, they weren't going to get close to it. Because it's kind of teeming with horrible radiation. But,
like I said, now we just got random, terrible superboats running around. Sank to the bottom of the ocean, had weird superboat kids. When will they come looking for revenge?
So I stepped out for a little bit, came back to Superboat.
Boy, that was a mistake.
So I'm a little confused. I'm not sure I want to get caught up to speed.
Apparently,
USS
we
Nevada
nuked the boat
twice. It didn't sink. We then had to shell it for 5 days straight. Because, we were doing it from maximum distance. Because we didn't want to get close to it on the account of the fact that it had been nuked twice. And it eventually, an aerial torpedo to the main deck eventually sunk.
What was the name of the ship?
The USS Nevada, I believe. It was either the Nevada or the Nebraska, but I think it was the Nevada. I pronounced that 3 different ways in that sentence.
All of them are correct. And I don't care what the Nevadans say. Their state is stupid.
Like Arkansas.
Oh my god, that's the worst thing ever. Sorry
wait,
to
wait.
everyone who's from.
No, but seriously,
there.
Arkansas has the worst naming conventions of all time.
Well, it's like, why
For the
would they?
longest time when I was a child, I'm like, it's Arkansas. Where are these people finding Arkansas? It's not on the map.
Well, it was even worse because we have another state called Kansas.
They have a city.
Oh, okay.
They have a
That's
city
crazy.
called Arkadelphia, which is
Yeah.
the laziest, stupidest name I've ever heard. You took Philadelphia and you just slapped the beginning of your state's name on it. Which, come on, you were.
It's not even. It's no longer the city of brotherly love. It's the city of love of your own state, I guess.
But the big city in Arkansas is Texarkana, and guess where that is?
Kind of fun
Tex-
to say though.
It's
Texarkana.
It's
Texarkana.
kind of fun to say. I'm sorry. That one's fun to say.
That one might be fun to say, but it's
Oh.
super lazy because it's right next to Texas. All they did was combine Texas and Arkansas.
Oh, golly. So, Caleb, you know the drill dozer missions from Deep Rock? Anybody who plays Deep Rock
Yes.
will know. So, I'm literally the dozer is so close to the spawn when it ran out of gas. I can literally throw a flare and almost hit the spawn where it came in at. I was just like, love this game, but sometimes it makes me wonder.
Sometimes that random generation
Yeah.
really gets you.
Melon's
It's like
on there. I never saw that.
randomly generated maps. It's great for having something new every time. Sometimes that something new is unplayable.
Like virtual hide lied.
Ow.
What?
Okay, so there's this super old NES game, right?
Oh, okay.
Called Hide Lied.
Mhm.
Think Zelda, but infinitely worse.
Got it.
Alright.
It's literally almost exactly like Zelda, except everything is just worse. For example, you don't have an attack button. You have two modes, and you switch between those modes by pressing and holding the A button. So you switch from defend mode to attack mode by pressing and holding the A button, and then you just slam
It's-
into enemies, and then you hit
it's
each
a-
other until one of you dies.
That's a weird mechanic, but if you did it right, if you
No.
if you did it with the right genre of game, it could work. But for a Zelda-esque game, that is a terrible mechanic. But
It's also absurdly grindy.
well,
In order to get to level 2, you have to kill 400 slimes. And the only way to heal is to pull a Call of Duty and stand perfectly still.
Was this before when you said NES? So this is before Pokemon. They invented grinding. like Pokemon, grinding's incidental. I already explained this to I think it was Sean I was talking with. Like in Pokemon, grinding became a mechanic after Pokemon, but it was incidental to Pokemon because you can play the game if you only use your starter. The game is perfectly paced. Like red and blue and green and yellow, they're all perfectly paced if you only play your starter.
Pokemon.
But nobody wants to only use their starter, and so grinding becomes a thing that has to happen. But it was sort of incidental to the way the game was designed. Wasn't necessarily
Right.
designed with grinding in mind. It just sort of happened. But it sort of kickstarted everyone in the JRPG world was like, oh man, this grinding mechanic has to be in every game now. Is it fun? No.
Kind of, in some instances.
I guess, maybe.
There's
I
ways that you could make it fun.
But the fact that this is a game that came out before Pokemon, and they're just like, grinding. You know what would be fun?
It
if
really
you have
was. It was.
If you have to play the game for 300 hours to even start to get good.
Oh no, there's no getting good. That's the combat. Is you just run into things until either they die or you die. And then you have to stand perfectly still and wait for your health to regen. Which takes forever, by the way.
Does switching to defense mode make that faster?
Nope. Nothing makes that faster. The only other way to heal is to use the medicine item, which instantly revives you at full health if you die. But it's one use only, and it's a mandatory item to beat the final boss. So you can soft lock your game super easily if you don't know
That
this.
sounds like a standard Japanese title.
It gets worse. So the game also has a saving mechanic, like Legend of Zelda,
Nice.
but it doesn't have a battery backup. So if you save and leave the console on, it'll save right where you are. But if you turn the console off
Or remove your cartridge.
or remove the cartridge, everything is gone. So you have to use the password system, which is like a 20-character password. And it's just things like this.
Man.
It's horribly obtuse to play. There's several bosses that you have to beat that give you absolutely no indication of how to beat them. There's a secret tree that you have to burn down with a fire spell, but only specifically that one tree, and no other tree in the game is affected by it.
This sounds like somebody asked the question, how hard can we make a game that's still technically beatable?
I mean, no, because that's pathologic, but this game comes close. Seriously, Ice Pick Studios, whatever's wrong with you. But no, Hydlide came out, and apparently enough people played it and liked it that they made an update for the SNES called Super Hydlide, and that one is obtuse and difficult, and you can accidentally soft lock your game as well. But it's also infinitely better than the first one. And then somebody decided to take one step forward off the cliff and make Virtual Hydlide. Virtual Hydlide is a remake of the first one. That uses procedural generation to move all of the dungeons around. It's also 3D, but it uses full motion video and digitized characters, so the depth perception is bad, the graphics are bad, the hit detection on all of the weapons is bad, and the camera will get hung on literally everything. And so when they're like, billions of possible worlds to play in, infinitely replayable, it's no. All of the dungeons are completely identical. It's just whether you have to go west or north changes sometimes.
Just realized
There's also-
I don't have my stream up on my other PC, so I can't see if like anybody has been chatting.
There's also some weird things that they do in Virtual Hydlide, like cursed equipment is really, really common. They won't tell you what scrolls do before you use them, so sometimes you can just curse your own equipment by accident or turn them into an herb. It's like, oh great, my full plate is now an herb. Definitely needed that. They also somehow, for some reason, removed the experience system. So fighting monsters in the overworld is worthless. You only get stronger by beating the dungeons.
Removed the one saving grace of the original game. Which was that eventually your character gets a little bit stronger.
Well, no, you do get stronger. It's just that it's gated by the dungeons.
Well, right, but like in the first game at least, yeah, you might be having a lot of trouble, but if you do spend long enough punching slimes, you will be, bulky enough to do something with your skill level.
Buddy, I played through like 70% of Hydlide. There is never a single point in that game where you feel strong. Oh, this is the best part. Did I mention this? The main character's name, his name, is Jim. Jim the Knight.
It's about time Jim's got some representation.
Good old Jim.
Jim.
Also, there were a lot of people that compared it to The Legend of Zelda. Because, it's basically exactly The Legend of Zelda, except worse in every way.
Right.
But to be fair, Hydlide did come out first. But it then really apparently decided to lean into it, because in Virtual Hydlide there is an item called the Master Sword.
Trademarked by Nintendo?
Presumably.
Well, I mean, it's a thing for the NES, so I'm not sure Nintendo's exactly worried about copyright infringement.
No, Virtual Hydlide was not on the NES.
Oh, well.
I don't know when Virtual Hydlide came out. I have to Google this now. Virtual Hydlide. 39% of users liked this video game.
39?
Pretty short.
I knew that the Dark Souls community was weird.
Shut up! You're one of us now. You can't make fun.
I totally can.
Virtual Hydlide is
Especially because he's one of you guys.
I'm also brutally honest about the game. It's
Wow,
good.
wow.
I'm having fun, but some of it is intentionally designed to be bad and rough, and I don't appreciate that. Like, having tough combat's great, but when your terrain is designed to make it worse than it is just because you didn't feel like the enemies were hard enough, that bugs me. Like I told you which two areas made me feel that way so far.
The rafters and the archives.
Yeah.
I wish we had more than 9 slots in our hotbar. Just not enough.
I want to play Elden Ring so flippin' bad.
Got $60.
Elden Ring.
But I need to get a job first. I did have an interview not too long ago, so I should be getting... They said I should be getting a phone call in the next couple of days.
Well, hope that goes well. Which
Yeah,
business? Which
Is it
business
about the
are
one
you
that
going
you
to work?
mentioned last week?
Which business are you going to work at? What's the address?
I hate you, Molly.
Ow.
I was so tempted to give the name and address of the church. It's a security position at the hospital.
Nice.
Oh, where's
A friend from
Okay.
church is talking to his boss about maybe looking at hiring me, which would be great because it's actually in my field rather than golf coursing, which is about as far away from my field as you can get. And since experience is like super important in my field, it would be great to do that, but they'd have to want to hire a college student part-time, so we shall see.
Okay. As promised on Tuesday, the very end, the baseball discussion.
Oh my gosh.
I missed that one.
So on Tuesday, right before we got off of the Dark Souls stream, Jub led me into a discussion of why I think baseball, it's weird that it's not more popular in more countries.
No, don't blame me for leading you into this thing. You said baseball something, and I said, oh, baseball's dumb. And then you proceeded to be like, no, it's... And then, like, try to defend baseball. So don't make it sound like I
kind of like
dragged you.
baseball.
I see.
That's,
I
you know
can't
what?
fully commit. I kind of like baseball. Leave
Okay,
it
listen, I don't
alone.
actually follow it, but if I were to have to go to a ball game, it would be a baseball game. I've lost
Listen, my grandma loved baseball, okay? She was wrong, but, like, she loved baseball.
my grandma hit my brother in the face
So-
with a baseball once.
I used to play baseball.
I am shocked that baseball has not caught on in more countries besides America and Japan.
America's pastime, man.
It is America's pastime, and I will never let the football guys forget that.
You may be a more interesting sport, but my goodness, we've had baseball longer.
So baseball is it's a great equalizer.
Oh, here we go.
It's
See earlier comment.
it does not. It is a sport which,
It is a sport.
yes.
This is
Oh,
very
yeah, I'll agree
difficult
on
for you to
that.
get out of your mouth. That
No, I'm
concerns me.
trying to figure out like exactly how to word this.
How can I
That's what
convince my
concerns
friends
me.
that baseball isn't trash?
Well, it's not. So baseball's this. It's a great equalizer in the world of sports because
But you can be fat, white, and diabetic and still be good.
you need some amount of physical ability to play the game, but there is no like body structure or anything which will give you a clear advantage in baseball. And for instance, let's take basketball. There is such there's such an advantage in basketball to being tall that there are no professional. There is one professional basketball player, and I'm not even going to remember his name because he's not even like he's not the best, And the only thing noteworthy about him is he's the only professional player who's shorter than 6 foot. And that just means that there's a clear advantage to being taller in basketball, to the point where every professional player has to be of a certain build. It's a very limiting field because of that. Whereas in baseball, there are very athletic dudes and there are very fat dudes. But since it has less to do with their builds and their technical abilities, it's very equalizing. You can get good at the sport no matter who you are, as long as you don't have some sort of crippling disability, I guess.
So you're saying that...
And chess is even better than that. If you could be a paraplegic and be amazing at chess.
I mean, yeah, you can.
Are you starting to see where this argument breaks down a little?
I
No.
kind of understand what you're saying, but it's like if you have...
I'm saying that it's shocking that more countries don't play it. I'm not super shocked that more people don't enjoy watching it, because I understand, even though I like it and I like listening to it on the radio, although I haven't done that in forever.
Radio? What's that?
You have a radio? You've listened to a ball game on the radio?
I have actually.
Are you sure you're not the oldest of us?
Are you sure you're not a boomer?
I am not.
I am 100% certain that you are.
No.
We're gonna head on down to the soda fountain and get.
Listen,
you
I'm not that old, but I am old enough to remember my car still has a radio in it. But I'm old enough to remember when cars had radios.
In them, yeah.
Cars still have radios.
Yeah.
They
Where do you think I
radios,
just
comrade.
you think I just sat at home listening to a ball game on the radio? No, I listened to the ball game. I listened to the ball game while I was in the car. Obviously.
That's not the way it came around.
I imagine you sitting in an armchair wearing a smoking
Yes.
I mean, that is something I
going. Go on, Cleveland Indians, you marvelous gents. Hit that ball.
Pittsburgh Pirates kind of guy, actually.
Washington Nationals. What's wrong with you?
Got family from the Pittsburgh area. That's what's wrong with me. So.
Yeah,
I
I
would
do
say-
see how that would be a problem for you.
Let's go a step back 1 second to the baseball thing. Talking about body morphology or how certain traits. You're talking you're trying to say are you trying? Because it's a weird analog almost. Because you're saying okay, in basketball.
It's very similar to the.
tall-
I think it's very similar to the
that's
reason that soccer got popular is because there's no clear advantage to having longer legs in soccer. So I think soccer got popular.
What are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. It's
Well, okay, there are a lot of different nationalities that play soccer, right? And there's no ethnic group that has a clear advantage.
But that doesn't mean it's because it fits more body types of people. I think that doesn't. Because that's basically what you're saying. So so basketball, being tall is great, but it's still not the greatest thing ever. Scottie Pippen, he's not that tall, yet he's very good. Right? He sticks around because he makes up for it with skill and speed, because he's not huge, he's fast. Right?
Right.
So you have different people play different roles. Now, if you're tall, what does that help you with? Well, that helps you if you're in the outfield, right? Because you want to be tall. The taller you are, the more likely it is you'll catch a ball, or the easier it is, right?
Not no.
In
Because
baseball?
in baseball it makes it a little easier to catch
Maybe marginally, but the scale of the field is such that it's not going to be as ridiculous as it is in basketball.
Right.
Where
In
like,
basket-
Shaq can just stand up the goal and you can't.
In basketball, literally every inch of height you have is a 2-inch advantage.
No, but what you said was your body type doesn't make a difference. If I'm right, I guess like it does. You know, but I guess I'm confused. Like what body types are you talking about? Are you saying like it doesn't matter what you look like, or it doesn't matter if you're tall? Because like okay, you can make an argument it doesn't matter you're tall, but it doesn't mean that like your natural, the genetics of your body don't make a huge difference. Like you know.
Yeah,
The
that's
strength of your
what
arm.
I'm saying is
Comparing the difference between the advantage given for one type of specific body type in basketball. Being tall is very big advantage in basketball, but there's no specific thing in baseball that does the same thing.
Right. So this is the point I'm gonna make because people have been trying to make this point for a long time. Okay, because they'll look at people like, oh, look at Babe Ruth. He literally was, a fat white dude who out of shape, and he destroyed it, right? But he wouldn't do. But people like don't recognize that he wouldn't do as well today.
No, he
in
would
modern
not.
baseball.
He would not do as
No, he
well
would
today
not.
in modern
No, he
baseball.
wouldn't,
I
because
don't
your body-
understand the whole. He
Right,
was
but
he was good at a few things, but people idolize him a little bit
It's
too much.
irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You are making an argument that is a permutation of that argument, which is like, oh, you can basically be any kind of. Which yeah, it's like.
I did start it off by saying
don't-
being athletic helps.
Yeah, it
But
helps.
your genetics are not going to keep you from being good at baseball.
But that is not. But
You-
that's not exciting. That's not. It's when people watch people play sports. I think there is a large element of this is a special person because of their physical attributes. Like they can do things that I can't do. They're not superhuman, but they're above the average. Right?
I think
So
the
they're doing these
argument
incredible
that-
things, and yeah, I guess if you made that argument, yeah. So baseball definitely, you don't have to be. You could be a freaking, fat slob, and still do good at baseball. Probably, maybe, if you like really understand the game and understand the tactics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's not. But that's not fun.
It's
Well-
not fun as a spectator sport, particularly.
As a spectator sport. No,
Which
just
is why
playing
it didn't really take off. It's why football is more popular as a spectator sport. It's why a lot of things are more popular as spectator sports is partially that.
And
I think what
soccer-
Comrades was trying to say is that it's weird that it wasn't picked up as a casual game in more places because it's so accessible.
All right, but
That
I
is
think the
mostly
problem is
what
so
I am trying to
boring.
say, yes. I find it weird that more countries don't play it, and it's literally just an American and Japanese thing.
Right. Well, what do you? I mean, you need less to play soccer. Just like the equipment, the availability. So, like, because what does it have in common, right? The whole world plays it.
Who's
the
not
poorest,
sleeping?
The poorest of countries.
Or are we all sleeping and it's glitching? Let me go
I
and get back in bed.
No, I wasn't sleeping. I was still laying out stuff, and I was like 20 miles from my bed. I'm already
Why
heading
you
there.
take your bed with you?
I think the
I'm working on my
accessibility-
house. It just takes a while to walk through the
I'm
manor.
working on my house too.
I think the accessibility of football or soccer is what helps propel it. to be
Once
so popular.
once you pointed out that there's like less equipment needed for soccer, I realized that was a good point. Is they both have the advantage over the other games, right? Of as long as you're athletic, your genetics aren't going to give you a huge advantage or disadvantage in the game. But soccer is technically more accessible since all you need is a ball and an agreed upon place to score.
But those guys are still though like.
Yeah,
but even in soccer though, you're still the size of their calves, like they're huge.
And
they're
you
constantly
focus
running
on
up
the
and
Babe
down,
Ruth,
and
but
it-
if you watch like modern baseball, most of them are athletic. Like there aren't any real fat guys playing professional baseball anymore.
I mean, there are some pretty big guys playing professional baseball.
Not on Babe Ruth's level.
No, but there are large men playing baseball.
I would argue most of that is it. They don't look unfit; they look large, which is different.
I was.
You ever showed somebody who's never seen like a weightlifting or something competition a picture of a strongman? Oh, that was so fun for so long for me. Where I would just be like, hey, look at this person, and show them a picture of like Eddie Hall, and they're like, oh my gosh, that man probably just sits around for 26 hours a day eating potato chips on his couch. I'm like, yeah, except the fact that he's, the world record holder for the heaviest deadlift of all time. They're like, what? Yeah, 500 kilograms. That record was broken by Hafthor Bjornsson not long ago, actually. 6'10", 420 pounds.
Muscle weighs more than fat.
And if you're not a
Yes.
bodybuilder, it looks almost exactly the same.
I have made a horrible mistake.
I also would point out soccer is much more frenetic than baseball in the sense that people are constantly moving. People don't score a whole lot, which makes it boring, but there's always something going on.
Oh, speaking of not scoring
There's
a lot,
less standing in place.
that has
Yes.
always been one of the weirdest things to me in baseball, is that in baseball there's this weird thing where in like the little league, right? Nobody scores. In the minor leagues, there's tons of scoring, and then in the major leagues, nobody scores.
Well,
My nephew started.
You see that same kind of curve with chess. When really bad players are playing each other, it almost always ends in a draw because they both just have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And then when you get a little bit higher up, they start seeing tactics and things get exciting, and there's a lot of back and forth, and, decisive victories, decisive losses, that sort of stuff. But then you get to like the Grandmaster level, and
there's a lot of
everyone
draws.
is so good, it's a lot of draw.
It's
the
like
last
tic-tac-toe
World
on
Championship had, like,
steroids. It's
I think the last
tic-tac-toe.
World Championship had like 15 games, and 9 of them were draws.
Tic-tac-toe
I
should
think.
always end in a draw. But when you play with kids, it always ends in somebody losing.
Unless you play with my dad, and he's like the tic-tac-toe master. Really annoying. He swears he taught me how to win, and then I play and I lose.
Now I have to play tic-tac-toe with you. I want to know how in the world do you lose tic-tac-toe? There's 9 squares.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in so long, but I do remember.
I know exactly
when I hit
one.
about, like,
There's
8.
one. Okay, go ahead.
When I was about 8, I think it was one of my sisters, but we played a whole bunch of tic-tac-toe just waiting for our food to get there, and I don't know whether they do, but I kind of stumbled across solving the game.
Listen, I know the way to win every time, but so does my dad. Somehow
Well, then it
he
should
knows
end
the
in a
other
draw.
way. but then he comes up with something else, and I'm like, Daddy, how?
There are 9
There.
squares. There are 9 squares.
There-
I
there-
guarantee you, I've played every possible permutation of that game. And you have too. You just don't remember.
Well, it's like I've forgotten the second way to win. And he won't teach it to me again because he says he's already taught it to me once. I shouldn't need to learn it again.
I do know exactly one way to trick somebody that knows how to play the tic-tac-toe into losing, but it only
Maybe
works
that's what my
once.
dad's doing.
It works once! Like,
Except I don't learn anything.
you see it, and then it never works again because it's easily blocked. It takes advantage...
It's me.
It
Apparently.
literally takes advantage of people's desires to play on the middle square. So you go
I don't care
first
about
and you
the
don't
middle
play on the
square.
middle square, so you
I
know
get that's how
exactly.
you win.
I never.
I
played
know how
Middle
to do
Square.
that part. But then my dad does something and I lose. It's not fair.
Alright, so if your first 2 moves are the opposite corners and your opponent
Yes.
plays the middle square. So if you play top right corner, your opponent plays middle square. You play bottom right corner. Or no, bottom left corner.
Yes.
Okay. All your opponent has
you
to
have
do
understand, I do know how to win. But
all your
somehow my
all
father
your opponent
circumvents
has to
every
do
time.
all you have to do at that point to ensure that he can't win is play on one of the inside edges. Don't play on a corner.
But yes, I can make a draw that way.
Well, make a draw. You don't need to win. All you
But
have to
I
do.
wanna
can't win.
You can't win.
You can't.
I want to.
Shadow, tic-tac-toe has been solved mathematically.
I know.
It's a draw.
The first thing you should do when you realize you're playing tic-tac-toe is to stop. Problem solved.
Yeah, but it's what we did. Like what Jeb said, it's what we did when we were waiting for food to come.
Tic-tac-toe it's a game that should always end in a draw between 2 people who know what they're doing.
Solving mathematical equations by carving them out in your flesh with a fork would be a better use of your time than playing tic-tac-toe.
I
You get more out of it.
disagree
Speaking
with
of
that.
mathematical equations, I'll be back in like half an hour. My math person is ready to help me
I
with my
thought you'd be
homework.
like, I got a lot of carving to do.
No,
You're
no,
wrong.
I'm in a math class right now, except I can't do math. So my brother-in-law, who's a statistician, helps me with my homework. So I need to go do that real quick. It shouldn't take long. I feel really stupid that I can't do it, because I know that I should, but
That's
really
Shadow,
shouldn't take.
statistics is literally
It's not
one of the worst
statistics.
things that math can do.
I got an A in statistics. No, it's math, business, and economics.
Oh, economics is statistics on LSD.
Yeah, I really don't know why I need this for cyber, but apparently I do.
Then you throw in a laugher curve.
Because you need to suffer.
I am suffering. I'm computer
Math firm.
programming.
Throw in the laugher curve, and everyone goes nuts.
Everyone
No,
agrees
not
that this
you.
exists, but no one agrees on where it is or how it works.
Sounds like my Python assignment that like the person who helped make it was like, I don't know why it's doing this, and I'm honestly not sure what to do about it except for this, and you don't know what this is, but I'm gonna put it in your code anyway, so it's gonna work. And I was like, okay, whatever you say, man. I just need to get the assignment done.
I am 100% certain that my Python teacher screwed up our tests for the final.
Did you have to program for
Mhm.
for your tests?
Mhm.
We
I'm
don't.
100%. I'm 100% certain that he messed up the test because the code just refused to work, and I couldn't figure it out. None of the other people seemed to be able to figure it out. I got an A on that, despite literally having completed like 60% of it. So either that was a wicked curve, or he realized that he made a mistake and just kind of went, everybody gets an A on this.
We had to program for my C# class. All of the tests were programming. I have not had to program for a test, except for a bonus question in Python.
That's crazy.
I know. Okay, I really do have to go now. I will be back, though.
I'll be back.
The Schwarzenegger.
Okay, let's see. All right.
Can you stop running into there, please?
We are an hour into the podcast. So did anyone else bring any drinks? Actually, before we get into that discussion, I need to go get the drink that I'm going to be discussing. I drank my coffee. It's just the same coffee I've been having. But I'm gonna go get something different.
Dude, stop. If it...
Can't stop, won't stop.
That reminds me of that song I hate.
Don't stop believing.
No, not that one. So...
All right. So this is an interesting drink, and I haven't made any of it for years now. You guys still there?
Yep.
No.
Okay, cool. What in the world? I think there's a llama breathing down my back. Okay.
Why a llama specifically?
Because there's llamas in the game. And I think one of them talked to me. It's either that or a witch.
You sound like you need help.
Probably.
That sounds mad. I have to take your word for it.
Oh, it was a witch. I burned her.
Oh.
But did you make sure that it was a witch? Did you test it against a duck?
Well, it threw a potion at me.
I mean, that's not conclusive proof that she was made of wood.
Oh, it takes... That doesn't even make sense.
It's not supposed to. It's Monty Python.
No, not that. There's a... Let's talk about this. This is a good topic which we can argue about.
Okay.
I disagree.
Oh, excellent. We're starting off on a good foot. The over tuning of games and overbalancing. I think that people overbalance their games to death. Like in games that aren't, especially like in games that aren't PvP but are PvE, like just to say Deep Rock Galactic, that's the game I'm playing right now. So they will just do things that don't make sense in order to presumably keep the player from being too powerful. And so they'll make you weak. Now, I don't disagree with that philosophy. I think that it's like, okay, you know, if you're doing it and the aim is to increase the amount of fun and teamwork and reliance on one another, instead of just making you an unstoppable commando, I get it. But I think they but it's a fine art, though. You know, it's not always easy to pull off. I think that Deep Rock, they tend to overbalance their games. Now, for instance, you have a rifle that can't. Now, it's Caleb likes to use it. Now, the scout rifle, or whatever that rifle is for the scout, the second gun.
Yeah.
Right.
So
whenever you use a charge shot, it takes 2 shots out of your 8-shot clip, and it's like, but why?
Wait. Oh, I never noticed that.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
yeah,
I exclusively use focused shots.
Yeah.
So basically,
it's like
the scout starts off as a really weak character with no good combat purpose. His only purpose is to move around the map fast and collect minerals and stuff.
Well, he lights up the map. And
yeah, he's got great like support utility, because he lines up the map. He reveals minerals that would otherwise stay hidden because it's hard to see the like top of the map with just your flares. And he's got a gun that shoots flares, so he's got great utility. But like once combat starts, basic scout in Deep Rock is useless. But then
everyone's pretty bad on the creators.
Yeah, but like other people can, you know, they can work their way through the swarms, eventually killing them. Scout just sort of, he can't put out enough damage at the beginning to work his way through swarms on his own.
I don't know how long it takes you to get like the ice grenade. But the ice grenade levels the playing fields in a lot of ways. Like, it gives them, like, the added oomph he needs in a lot of ways, but...
Yeah, I keep meaning to switch my grenade out for the Cryo grenade, but...
Cryo grenade?
Yeah.
But anyways, it's actually like the overbalancing thing. Like, I hate, like, artificial difficulty that is added in the stuff. Like, you know, because to me, it's just like, it breaks the experience in a lot of ways. Like, you know, it's just kind of weird. It's just like,
yeah,
if this is your...
artificial difficulty. Yep. Okay, nice.
Yeah. The artificial difficulty, it breaks the immersion, and it breaks, just like, yeah, it's just kind of like, it makes you question, like, why is that a thing? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And that's when it's like, oh yeah, I don't know. I guess it's the game design, but I don't know, it's just weird. Yeah, like stuff that just doesn't even make sense. Like, how does a physical bullet, how do you consume 2 bullets with 1 shot?
Yeah.
Right? And it's basically like an M1 Garand. I was like, that doesn't even make any sense.
Is it a kinetic weapon, or is
it
a fire
yes, it's a...
Think of an M1 Garand in space.
In fact, it is called the M1 Garand.
All right, see, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It literally turns him from a useless character in combat to, yeah, he's still no good on his own, but he's now a sniper, so he can pick off the really important enemies that he sees in the back. So, it turns him from a useless character to, yeah, he still can't mow down the waves, but at least he has some amount of effect on the combat.
At least he's doing something.
He turns him into a sniper, and it is more useful than not. I always feel like I am helping in the combat now, but yeah, I did a couple solo missions as scout, and he just still can't work through waves.
It's your strategy has to change, and it involves a lot of running away, which he's uniquely equipped to do because of his grapple hook.
Yeah, so all the
I'm
characters.
sorry, have you ever played Overwatch with Comrade?
He
doesn't jive well with the backing away from combat style.
but I do back away from combat in Deep Rock when I play scout.
No one believes you.
I literally have
not a single person.
Literally have a stream from last week where I play scout and run away. So.
And you have several videos of you playing Reinhardt, which is more compelling evidence.
Yeah, but see, Reinhardt doesn't need to run away because Reinhardt say no. Reinhardt is USS Nevada, the character. Oh, but onto the topic of drinks. So today, yeah, my coffee is not super exciting. It's what I've been drinking. But right here, I have some specially brewed and self-made yeast soda that I did. And I have to say, it doesn't taste bad. It tastes a little bit sweet, but it doesn't taste bad. But it didn't carbonate as much as I wanted it to. So I probably should have let it carbonate a bit longer. If you don't know what yeast soda is, it's where you make a soda pop at home and you carbonate the water by putting a little bit of yeast into it. Like, just a little bit of yeast. Like, most recipes call for 1/8 of a teaspoon. I put less, and it's still a little bit carbonated. Like, as long as the yeast stays alive, it doesn't matter how much you put in. It will carbonate the drink sooner or later because yeast produces carbon dioxide. So you can make a fizzy drink at home with just yeast and sugar. This is a it's called a molasses beer, and it's essentially ginger ale, but it has brown sugar and or molasses in it. So that's my drink. What about you guys? Anything exciting?
I'm drinking Gold Peak sweet tea, and it's delicious. No matter what Josh says.
That's the hill you will die on.
Mm-hmm. There we go. I was wondering where the other battery was.
Okay. I am almost done with the walls of this manor. And then I have to finish the outside quartz walls. And then I can get around to working on the interior of this place. Actually, that's quite a bit sweeter than I thought it would be. That's a bit disappointing. I didn't want it to be super sweet. Oh well. Like I said, it's the first time I've made it in like quite a while. What's in my quartz? Whoa. Wait. No, over here. Did anything else exciting happen in the world since last week?
I will say that I noticed that the media. So it's so difficult. I don't know if they're right, so I want to make that disclaimer. Huge pinch of salt, but the media has gone from being like, "Oh, Russia is probably gonna win," but to help Ukraine wins, to like, "If Ukraine wins." There's been more optimism, I would say, about the Ukraine situation.
Yeah.
Ukraine holding its own. Apparently people are like, even if it falls, Russia doesn't have the logistics to actually keep this, to keep it occupied. It's just too big of a country, and that it'll eventually be free again if there's a resistance movement. Basically, if there's a guerrilla war, that Russia will eventually lose the country by sheer logistics. But
yeah, I mean, it's basically been my take since the beginning. We already had that discussion, though. I think on the podcast, even.
Well, it was that the news was echoing it. That was my point.
Yeah,
a lot of NATO generals are kind of making that point. I don't want to say a lot of NATO generals.
Obviously, I don't know everything, can't predict the future, but as far as I can tell, this has largely been a pointless war that's not going to accomplish what the guy who started it wants it to accomplish, and it's been that way since the beginning. He does not have the resources or anything to continue what he's doing in any meaningful way. And so the only player that really matters at this point is China and whatever they do. Putin can't send the world into World War III. China could. I don't know that they would, but they could.
I think China is much the same situation though as Russia. I mean, it's not.
I don't think they would win World War III, but
I don't think they could sustain World War III. They couldn't fight. Their economy would just. They'd be trashed. They'd have to win such a quick and decisive victory.
Yeah, if anything happens, I think it will be China decided that they could take Taiwan and no one would care. But I think it would come down to people actually cared, and then China just couldn't sustain the war. and I've said this for like years, but China's been on the brink of economic collapse for a long time, and they mostly just posture like they aren't. But any amount of sustained battle would ruin them. Like, they could come out with a punch, but it would be the last punch.
I'm not a military expert. I do know, like a modern war, would they be able to sustain it? Probably not. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't do it, Russia, Soviet Union style, and just throw bodies at it. I've heard things like, however, that like, yeah, the Chinese army, there's a lot of people in it, but they're basically untrained. They're more of a showpiece than they are like a, basically like, so they can say that we have a lot of soldiers, but they're not really battle ready.
Reminds me of have you seen the clip of the North Korean military demonstration?
North Korea demonstration?
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Yeah, so basically, it was a demonstration in front of Kim Jong-un of the military prowess of the people, right? Or of the army, right? So naturally, what they did was a bunch of parlor tricks.
Wait, hold on. When you say they had a military parade or something?
Yes. So it's fairly recent.
I thought you meant like the people were protesting, and I was like, oh.
No, like it was a military demonstration in North Korea, in which the grunts of the military were showing off their combat prowess by karate chopping boards in half. And other parlor tricks.
What I did when I was 14.
And apparently that was to prove how strong their military was. Now, I will say it was kind of a better showing than what the American military did, which was put out a what do you even call it? It's like it's a recruitment video in which this girl talks about how she's uniquely equipped for the military because she has gay mothers.
Huh?
Yeah, because her two moms are lesbians, she's uniquely equipped for the military.
I mean,
I've seen videos of. There was one video of a drill sergeant that was reacting to like a whole string of those commercials because they made a whole bunch of them, and he was basically like, "There's this one that's about like this guy that, you know, his family moves to the United States and they build a life there, and he's from some other country, I forget which one it was, but they build a life in America, and like, yeah, I love this place, I wanna fight for its ideals and the freedoms that it brings." And he's like, "That one was cool, all the other ones I just don't understand."
Yeah, like that one, you know, it's you know, clever propaganda, which it is. Not all propaganda is bad, but it's you know, it's at least clever in that. Oh, why should I fight for America? Well, because it's better than every other country, and I know because I moved here because it was better than my country. That's like,
Um,
Okay, nice. I have finished the wooden outline of this building, and now all I have to do is pave everything in,
Josh, I need you to devil's advocate.
No.
Good job. So, I don't understand the argument people make. America's not the greatest. We don't do math so good. And it's like, what's the connection? Because more people on average in Japan have more mathematical knowledge, what does that got to do? I don't see the
More
direct...
educated, competent workforce, more scientific discoveries, more humanitarian achievements. That's the through line.
Yeah,
it doesn't work, but that's the through line.
But that's what I was like, I don't understand how you're going to compare, like, an island, essentially, which is Japan, an island nation. It's like, oh, but they does their math better. And it's like, yeah, but, like, they don't even have a fraction of our population. Not to mention, like, their cultures. I was like, they're not exactly taking over the world. You know what I mean? Like, North Korea bullies them. And, you know, they tried. Oh, they tried. Right? But it's like...
I mean, North Korea bullies us half the time.
Wow, if we let them.
Well, they bully us only when, you know, our,
certain leadership.
Only when our president doesn't know his right hand from his left hand.
That's always been, like, so strange to me. It's like who cares if, like, on average, it's like, what are they using it for? Like, we still have, like, I don't know, this is weird. It's just like, oh, well, one day in, like, 100 years, they're gonna surpass us magically because they're gonna beat us all up. And it's like, that's not how that works. I don't know.
To be fair, there is an argument to be made that Japan eventually won World War II, just through anime. They won the Cultural War.
Sure. Tell that to the leftovers, the people who survived World War II, and then lamented the fact that they lost their country's culture. I mean, anime is...
We messed with... Listen, that's the sequence of events. Some guy gets shot in the Balkans. You end up destroying somebody's boats. They vaporize a few cities, and then you get them back by making animations from their comic books that they left behind. It becomes wildly popular, and then I don't know. Then a group of people decides that they're going to make the greatest thing ever made, and no one's ever told a story like this when it's basically just Ruby, but more brighter colors.
Talking about anime?
I was talking specifically about the time that Crunchyroll decided to make their own anime, and they were like, no one ever made a story quite like this. And everyone's just like, except every anime has made a story that's basically exactly that. And then it released to, like, meh reviews. From what I understand, it wasn't bad. It just was...
Which one?
Just bland. It was like a...
If you say high...
Spice Academy
oh my goodness,
like that.
You're talking about High Guardian Spice?
I think.
No,
was
everyone.
That the one that Crunchyroll tried to make?
Yes, everyone collectively agrees it's the worst thing ever. It's not.
No,
it's not...
School Days is the worst thing ever. It's not even close.
There is.
Listen, you haven't even seen that show,
So-
I don't think.
High Guardian Spice or School Days?
School Days.
True, but I'm pretty sure School Days does not. So you know, like, how Draco Malfoy is literally just rude to Harry Potter for no reason? And,
Draco?
like, yeah. And that's the reason why you're supposed to
No,
hate him?
he has a reason.
Yeah, because he was raised, like, wrong.
Yeah, his family sucks.
And right, but like in the first book, you don't really get the reason, and then you like it's slowly revealed throughout the series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so imagine that,
Mm-hmm.
but there's legitimately no reason because she doesn't know this girl. Like it's not like, oh yeah, this is the famous guy who like killed the guy that my parents worked for. This is.
Oh, are we still talking about anime?
This is High Guardian Spice. There's literally a character
Oh,
who's
yes.
just Draco Malfoy, but with legitimately no reason.
Draco.
Draco, yes.
Grub. Anyways.
Why are you a terrible person and really mean to me? Because I don't like you. Why?
Oh, no.
Just your stupid face.
Your stupid face and your stupid scar. I hate disabled people.
You gotta hand it to disabled people.
Have you? Oh, Lord.
Another reason to hate Goku. His stupid face.
Stupid.
Another reason to hate Goku, you ask. He's so orange. It's like there are other colors, you know? Smash cut to Goku. Ah, orange. Really highlights my stupid face.
Ah, orange. No one will see it coming.
Really?
What?
That was a Simpsons reference. Come on, man. It's like good old rock. They'll never expect it. Good old
Oh, God.
orange. They'll never expect it.
That's not the quote.
Listen, I don't watch The Simpsons. I know the quote from
it's
memes.
Lisa and Bart. They're playing
hilarious.
rock, paper, scissors, and you hear Lisa's inner monologue, and she says, "Poor predictable Bart, always chooses rock." And then you hear Bart's inner monologue, and he goes, "Good old rock, nothing beats that."
Good old orange. Nothing beats that.
Like, there's a lot to unpack there, but I don't want to touch it.
There is so much to unpack.
By the
What are
way,
we
why
talking
aren't you
about?
sleeping, Jub? Get in bed so I
Oh.
can get to my day. Actually work on this house.
No.
Well, it's good as reason as any. So, I wanna.
Sound reasoning. There is no pettiness here.
It's like that Swagger Souls clip. It's like, hey, I've noticed you haven't been answering my emails. Is your internet alright? Oh, yeah, that's because I dislike you.
Why am I... So I realized the answer to this is because then bamboo would have no reason to exist. But why is scaffolding only made by bamboo and not sticks? That's so annoying.
What are we
Because
talking about?
we're talking about scaffolding in Minecraft.
No, before you guys started going on The Simpsons,
Oh,
it's not that whole.
We were talking about anime. Then we were talking about you not understanding people's arguments about why America isn't the greatest country.
Oh, based solely on like, well, but we don't. Yeah, I kind of went past that, but it's just like, oh, we don't do the math so well, and it's like, we don't blah 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 blah. It's like, I don't know. Do you ever think that they had to do that in order for them to be secure where they're at? Like that's the bare minimum that they can do to maintain their place. I don't know. It's weird.
Come on.
That's like plenty of stupid people have conquered smarter people. I don't know. It's like just because you're like, oh, it has the technologies.
See, whenever somebody argues that America is not the greatest country, and then you ask them on what principle, like
the public school system. It's like, oh, that's really.
It's like, do you think that? So it basically boils down to what's your metric, essentially? And if it's literally we are the freest country, and that has always been the metric by which we have judged the best. And now you want to change that? And whenever you bring up we're more free than everyone else, they're like, oh, that's not true. It's like, it is.
We're not free in the ways that they care about, like, or they're not free in the ways that they would care about, like.
There are a few wonky things, like if you're an American citizen, but you live in another country, you still pay American taxes.
Well, yeah, Uncle Sam gotta get a slice.
Well, yeah, because we're also the only country that will, if somebody kidnaps you and they find out you're an American, they release you faster than a. I was gonna make a fish reference, but I don't know like a good fish to use for that. Like you get released so fast once people find out you're an American, because they know America just doesn't play.
Yes, it does.
Except for when they don't help you, and then they die.
Sorry, okay. Under certain presidents, America does play. Our long-standing Carter, but our long-standing reputation is that if you kidnap an American and then ask for ransom from the American government, they shoot you in the face.
The government says, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Go ahead and kill them. We don't care. And then they kill you. And then the government's like, oh, that was bad. You shouldn't have done that. Now we're going to take your oil.
And some people say that that's a bit harsh. To which I say, well, it worked. And nobody kidnaps Americans now.
That's still not true. But I like the spirit of it. I don't believe that. But...
No, it mostly is true. Like, when people kidnap Americans, they usually release them because it doesn't actually make them money.
It starts international incidents.
Yeah. Without making them money, which kind of removes the point of kidnapping somebody. Oops, placed too much.
No binoculars. Who are you shooting and why?
Alright. Let's get around to half slabbing all of this.
Oh, I hate that. Somebody's shooting, I don't know.
Why? This is literally not placing like it should. Why is the quartz placement so jank? Why do I have to place this one block at a time? Why can't I place and run like I always can? Why do I have to place this quartz one click at a time? What have you done, Microsoft? Why is this bugging out? I just did it. I can place like wood just by walking backwards.
You guys,
What in the world?
who are you shooting at?
What is going on?
You actually engaging us? Oh.
This isn't working. Is it because it's a half slab? That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, I press.
Oh, this is a weird bug. I assume it's a bug. Because there's no way this would be a feature when it's not a feature for literally any other material.
Alright, hit the dirt.
I'm gonna have to go on a quartz buying spree, aren't I? Okay.
Oh, I see him. You down? I can't tell.
Okay.
I hear something. I can't tell if that's a helicopter. What is that? That sound. Yo, you need to hit the dirt. You're getting in front of you.
Oh, yeah, there was something else I wanted to discuss. I don't know how closely you two follow Markiplier.
Oh gosh, please tell me you're not gonna bring up what I think you're gonna
I don't think I'm gonna bring up what you think I'm gonna bring up.
Can you bring up the Pokemon thing again?
No, I'm not gonna bring up the Pokemon thing again, but we can talk about the
thank
Pokemon
goodness.
thing if you guys
No.
want.
Obviously not.
No. So, you know, a date with Markiplier and a heist with Markiplier. Those two things.
Indeed.
All right. So he's doing another one, and it's called
no.
In Space with Markiplier.
Oh no.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he did a promotional video for it. He didn't announce that this was a promotional video for it. Instead, it appeared to be one of his like weird videos where he just does something for fun. And his headline for the video was, "I watched the same video 100 times." That was his live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And he legitimately watched it 100 times. But it was just the trailer for his new In Space with Markiplier. He watched his trailer 100 times in a live stream.
He was a little desperate.
I guess that was his marketing ploy this time. For it was to watch the trailer for it 100 times on a live stream a month before it comes out.
I injured. Yes, something exploded next to me.
So yeah, that's a thing that happened. And I went all the way to this village without actually having emeralds on me with which to buy things. Because I am big smart. I don't know if you could hear that, but there was a car, like, just revving past my apartment.
I heard it for like 2 seconds.
Which, that has to be super loud, because I am as far away from the highway as you can possibly get. And, it's like, what is it? It's like 9 o'clock at night. Nothing's open anymore. Like, the Dollar General that's across the street is barely open at this time of night. Like, it'll be closed by the hour. Somebody was just did that. Alright.
What is happening? Do they have artillery?
Let's see, what do I need? Oh yeah, I need emeralds with which I can buy the goods.
Oh my gosh.
I have way too many dump chests. I need to go through here and sort out my dump chests.
That is definitely artillery.
That will be an entire stream in and of itself, is going through my dump chests and sorting them out.
Say dump chest one more time.
Dump chest. It was a weird request, but I decided to fulfill it. Was it worth?
I mean, I could take it or leave it. Oh, but seriously.
I will never understand either of you.
Dump chest. That's fine. That's for your own sanity. What is going on? How did that happen?
Ooh, nice. Blank block quartz. The guy I just traded with.
Okay, question.
Maybe
Dubious
answer.
answer.
What is going on? Where is that artillery coming from?
I don't know, man.
They're just shelling the crud out of them.
Asking us. You think
Because I
we
want
know?
answers. Yes. I think you're holding down information on me. I'll find out.
I want answers, Bob.
I want the answers.
Answers.
I want to know.
But I mean on the whole Pokemon thing.
Oh.
This man released a video, didn't explain it, and changed the face of YouTube overnight.
Change the face of what?
YouTube overnight. Everyone is doing their own Pokemon video now. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, it is a... I'm not gonna say it's 30 minutes that's worth your time, but it is a 30-minute video that this man produced about Pokemon. He doesn't even like Pokemon. I think that's the funniest part about all this. Is
I think there's a few Pokemon that he very much did.
yeah. Beanjump being one of them. My favorite moment of the video is when he looks at Magnemite and goes, "But why?"
Even he doesn't know. I don't think that we'll ever see a psychiatrist qualified enough to answer the question. Did you see the game theory episode that they did on that?
Unfortunately.
A game theory.
In which MatPat tries to psychoanalyze his friends.
He did a statistical analysis. And then paid someone to make a drawing.
Okay. Oh. I'm gonna have to
Did you see Mark's video on the Lovecraftian dating sim Sucker for Love?
Yeah, I did watch Markiplier play that. Well, I watched his first one. I haven't watched the other two. Second and third date. I probably get around to that.
You need to get onto that.
Undoubtedly.
I could have swore that he played a game like that before.
Alright, well, I'll have to be right back. I gotta use the restroom. Possibly.
I was about to say, gotta drain the old sea serpent.
Yes. Change my oil. I mean, human stuff. And, Be back. You guys can host the show while I'm gone, though. Oh, I've been playing the background music this whole time? Oh, no. Ah. Such a professional streamer.
You're certainly something.
So many lack of frame, and I'm dead. I'm guessing that was artillery. But not unconscious. Oh. Well, that was unfortunate. Oh, I don't understand. Oh, there they are. There's the artillery. That's the artillery that's been ruining my day. Uh,
Sorry that took so long. My brother-in-law is kind of a talker. We've been done with the math for a while.
That's okay.
Caleb left, so
He left us to watch the stream by ourselves.
yeah, I'm probably gonna.
And he's not sleeping! Alright, fine. I need to figure out what... Most of my area is pretty
Seriously,
safe.
if that's the worst thing the comrade does during this stream, we're having a good day.
True enough. I need to figure out how to do this with little space. I'm decorating the outside of my turrets tonight. I will not be able to get them all done because I have not shul tomorrow. I have work tomorrow. I don't even know what I have, apparently. And I have to be there early, so. I can at least get something else done tonight. Just something I would like to do. One turret. I want one turret done. I don't think that's too much to ask. Hello, skeletons.
Cookie
Please don't
scary
shoot me.
skeletons. Fine.
I don't want to be shot. Yeah, I immediately forget what I'm doing. How did I do this? I think it's that way. Don't know. Okay, that's gonna be a challenge. Okay, I need to use... I don't. This is inconvenient. That's what this is. I mean, how bad is it to walk through? It's not awful. Okay, just let it be.
That was definitely missiles.
Oh my gosh, where's that zombie? I heard a zombie. Where is it? Oh! Hi! Can't reach me. Haha. Hey, I'm too strong for you. I don't think that's where it's supposed to be.
Spooky, scary skeleton. Some shivers down your spine.
I need jumpers. Yeah, luckily, my house is safe. That means that I'm safe. But the area surrounding my house is not safe, which means I am not safe. It's a very interesting dynamic. Ow! Do it.
You're okay.
I got shot. What do you think?
You're A-okay.
I had single jump. I would be able to jump this, but I don't, so I can't. I don't know if I have pocket space to pick this up, though. Alright, I'm just gonna have to give these pieces of stone to the zombie. Please stop shooting at me. It's really not nice. Leave me alone. I am innocent. Whatever it is you think that I did. So you are a very bad shot. Okay, how awful does that look? I don't think that's too bad. Ah, sun is beginning to rise. I shall stand on this piece of gilded blackstone, and it should tell me all of the things I need to know. I want to change that to soul. I think both of those to soul. I don't know where my soul lanterns are. I might have some on the roof. The roof is also miraculously safe, even after I extended it and made. I realized when I went to put the overhang on the top of the castle that I had miscalculated by 2 blocks where the roof was supposed to be on each of the sides. So I had to build more roof and extend it out. And then I went through the arduous process of moving all of the braziers and redoing the iron wrapped doors, which took forever. We made a complete redesign, which was unfortunate.
Welcome back, Shadow.
Thanks. I'm only going to be on for like another 20 minutes because I got work early.
Got it.
And I want to find my soul lanterns, so. Suppose I could just make more. Oh, here they are. Sweet. For a second, I thought I didn't have any.
Are the other 2 still on?
They are. They are just not currently speaking.
I'm not still here.
Got it. Understood.
Yeah.
Jub's dead. My machinations have finally taken root.
It's only a matter of time.
Really was. But I'm glad to see the fruits of my labor finally take hold and fulfill what they were always supposed to do.
Which was to murder your friends.
Yes. Hopefully as violently and tragically as possible.
Oh, wow.
Yep. That way.
Yeah, a guy with chainsaws for hand just kicked down my front door and...
I'm pretty sure that's an anime. I'm not joking. It's an anime.
We've been over this. You can literally name any concept for any story, and an anime exists for it.
But see, I happen to also know that one exists, so it was kind of
I
cheating.
know that too. That's why I said that specifically.
It's called Chainsaw Man. His face has also been replaced by a chainsaw.
By a chainsaw?
Yep.
Well,
Well, at least have
more power
one.
to him.
No, it's not even one turret exterior. It's one turret exterior for the first floor. There are two more. Dagnabbit.
If I remember right, he was killed by demons, and one of them was a chainsaw demon that tried to possess his dead body. It went terribly wrong for the demon, and he ended up in control of the new chainsaw body. There's also Chainsaw Dog. Which is just his pet dog, but also replaced by a chainsaw for its head.
Well,
It's also not the dumbest story to come out in the past 15 years, which I think is an achievement.
Nice. Comrade, I don't even know what... I don't even know what the dumbest story to come out in the last couple of years is.
Well, it's not
Well, has
Chainsaw.
he got a story for you?
Well, I know of
I
at
don't
least
think
one
he
that's...
knows.
I know of one that's at least stupider. I don't know if it's the dumbest. But One Punch Man, except it's a rooster.
girls go to Jupiter to get more stupider.
It's an accurate song for the occasion.
I don't know. I was like, stupider.
I am
I am
sad that I lack the talent to make this stuff up.
You can't make this up. You just can't.
I mean, you could, but
I need to stare better.
You need to stare better.
Yes, I'm correct. Not the rain. Oh, I don't want it to rain.
It's raining here too.
That's really unfortunate, isn't it?
I am convinced that the weather patterns are universal, except for terrain.
You have to
specific
be
stuff.
really far away. So if you were back at home base, like spawn, I do not believe it would be raining. But because we are on the same half of the world, it is indeed raining. Because you're at the colony, right?
I'm at Copperton. I'm working
Well, we're
on my.
completely different ends of the world. I have no idea why it's raining.
I am convinced that it's universal.
It's not raining for me.
Are you in the desert?
You back at home? Are you
I'm
in
at-
another?
I'm at the hub.
I told you if you were back home, that won't be happening.
Yeah, but you also said that, like, it had to do with distance, and Comrade clearly did that.
Well, obviously, I was wrong about that. One mistake. These people.
Well, but the hub is like surrounded by mesa, which can't get rain, right?
Yeah, but it is not in a mesa biome.
Oh, I'm by my gold farm.
Which is mesa.
That's on the mesa. Job.
Mesa can't get rain?
No, because it's a desert.
Well, let me just pop back over into the hub proper.
Help us with this, please.
Oh, it's raining here.
Universal. I changed my.
I've been saying it's universal forever. I keep getting arguments, but it's always been universal as long as you're
It's
not in
like
a desert.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, but Comrade, you're so very often wrong.
It's true enough. Why can't I place a block here?
Someone
This is stupid.
will watch the stream eventually, and they'll be like, "Well, actually, it's not universal," and they'll give reasons for why. It's
But except, honey, except it is. Because it's not working that way. I need more than 9 slots in my hotbar. Oh my goodness. I need like just 10. Just 10. Just give me one more
I
slot.
love how out of everyone here, I'm the one who did the "well, actually" voice, and I'm the most likely of us to say "well, actually." I'm self-aware.
And yet,
I will continue to be the person most likely to say "well, actually."
Oh, okay. I'm good. Everything's hunky-dory.
huh, that's kind of fun.
Okay. I have no idea how this looks. I feel like I should go check before I finish. Because I'm messing with people's designs now. Okay, well that doesn't help. I left 2 pieces of blackstone in the middle of it.
Okay, now I need to see whether or not it's simply because of the quartz, or if it's because of the half slabs. It's the half slabs. You can't quick place half slabs. Oh, that's so annoying. That's the worst.
It depends on how skilled you are at placing half slabs.
No, like if you run backwards and you're placing slabs, you can place most blocks by running backwards and holding down the button. That doesn't work for some reason on quartz half slabs. You can try it right now, and it hasn't been working for me all night.
Okay, I have run sideways placing quartz half slabs before very quickly, so it's the way you're doing it that's causing the problem.
I have been doing it all night, and it hasn't been working. I don't know if it's server lag or something.
Maybe it's because I use a beacon. I don't know.
Does beacon make you place blocks faster?
Makes everything faster. Depending on which beacon type you're using. Yes.
First.
I didn't think there
Okay,
was
what did I
anything that
do?
increased block placement, because block placement's already instantaneous. Usually.
It's based on how fast your little duty moves. So the faster your little duty moves, the faster you place the blocks. Trust me, beacons are faster. I've been using a beacon for the entirety of this build. This massive build. And I would be half as far without a beacon. Because with the amount of terraforming that I had to do, amount of block placement and block removal, the beacon, I've been using a speed and a haste beacon the entire time.
I can't wait till I get to terraforming. Oh,
my
that'll be
goodness.
fun. Making everything in a 200 block radius, just flat land.
Yeah, I have to fake build a mountain, which is gonna be great. But I also need it to be realistic. Alright, 2 shakes, man, because I am on the wrong floor for my bed. And it's kind of my bubble elevators are meant to get you from the ground floor to the top floor. However, there are exits on all of the other floors. So if you are skilled enough, it is an elevator for all of the floors. But it's handy because I've got both elevators next to each other. So you can just switch back and forth. And that actually helps with doing it. Okay, I have made an error. Let me fix my error. That did not fix it. What on earth am I doing? I'm over here to fix it. The exact same thing. It's not going to make a difference. But it is going to make a difference. Oh my goodness. Oh, hold on. Boop. Boop. Okay, it's making a difference. I don't know why it wasn't. 5 seconds ago. Do I want to use half slips? Do I want to use stairs? Who is texting me?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
What is this? Oh, apparently I can get an honor society class ring. Wonder how much that costs. I almost feel like I would want a class ring at this point. But at the same time, do I care that much money for it? Oh! Just made a mistake. Because I'm stupid. That's a stupid mistake to make. It is much easier to catch. Oh my gosh, I just freaking did it again. Are you kidding me? Building on the outside of turrets is not easy. It is easier to catch your desired floor on the way down. Someone's got to let me up, which means you've got to go, man. Okay.
It's not easy being green.
It's a good thing I'm not green, then.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, who is texting me?
I don't know that. I haven't seen you in the flesh.
Oh, it's my brother.
Your brother's green?
Did you mean to text that to me?
Huh?
What?
Mary, you okay? Take your medicine.
Confused. I'll take it when I go to bed.
HGs won't be crazy.
Do you understand now my pain? Trying to get these yahoos to take their meds.
It seems pretty difficult.
Will have you know, Jub, that I have been taking my medication every night. Without fail.
And your iron supplements?
That is part of my medication, yes. That's my main okay, well, no. I don't... The thing is, my other medication is a more by choice thing to help with some other girl stuff. I would much rather not miss that. The thing is, I still don't understand why I have to take the iron. I just do it. Doing that.
Pretty sure you have to take it because the doctor said that it would help you.
That's what she said. But why? It doesn't do anything. I keep falling. It doesn't do anything. I didn't die without it. Therefore, it seems kind of unnecessary. Just saying.
You never know.
I don't think that's the metric by which that we should be judging things.
But that is the point. Isn't it? Like,
No.
Is Dream Thief on chat? What is happening?
I don't know.
What is happening? Is he texting his girlfriend? He's texting me.
Is he sending you naughty things? Because I don't want to hear.
This is my brother. Wow.
Well, if he
Dude,
thinks
what's
you're his
wrong with
girlfriend. Well,
No,
you said
but he said I feel like I picked up in the middle of a conversation.
based on the way you're
What?
reacting to it, it's a pretty natural conclusion.
He said it coats a lot. Yes. Take your meds with an exclamation point. We're not on chat. He's not here.
He might have the stream open in the background.
But
He has
Oh.
the stream open in the background.
Bro, you have no idea how disconcerting that was. Little turd.
Just a moment.
The worst.
I'm pulling up YouTube because I know that's where he watches. I'm gonna see what he's commenting.
The worst. Freaking me out, man. Losing my mind. I have no idea if I'm doing this in a way that looks fine or...
Okay, let's see. It's
It
difficult to
coats a
navigate.
lot. What do you mean by it coats a lot? Okay, thank you. The messages are for me. I got that. Thanks. Are you not listening to the stream anymore? We gathered that.
The YouTube stream is usually quite.
Oh, he's watching on
Oh.
Twitch. Ha!
We gathered that, bro.
Hey, Dream Thief.
What?
Watching
coats
on
a lot?
Twitch, finally.
What on earth?
What coats a lot?
You are concerning.
So I got hungry
I-
in the middle of the stream, which I realized while I
Okay.
went to the bathroom. So I started a whole sausage, potato, onion, and egg dish,
Wow.
which finally got cooked.
Oh no, that looks awful. I should not change the design. That was a mistake. Okay, I have enough time to destroy it so that I can pick up tomorrow.
Yes, give me your quartz blocks. Ooh, you're upcharging for your quartz blocks, so I don't want
Dude, they
that.
got expensive when I was there.
Well, if
I
you
don't know,
keep if you keep trading for them, they do get expensive, but you just sort of wait
No.
around.
Oh,
You wait around for a little bit, and then their prices go down.
I know how villagers work, comrade. Thank you. No! I'm deeply upset. Okay, that was actually a lot easier to fix than I thought would be. No, it isn't! I'm deeply upset!
How deeply?
Deeply enough, she yelled at us. Deep
I'm sorry,
hatred.
guys, okay, listen, I am of the tired nature right now, which means I get loud, and I'm sorry, but this is what you get.
This is what you get.
Yeah, this is why I'm single. Nobody wants to put up with this.
Yeah, for some reason I thought you were getting. Never mind.
I think you're
Okay,
thinking of.
change that train of thought really
I
fast.
think you're thinking of my sister, who's engaged.
Nice.
Your sister's engaged?
Yes, but not the one that hangs out with us.
Okay. It's like, that was weird. We talk to her fairly often.
Feeling it was the other one.
She's been engaged since July of last year. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that to you before. Just to make you feel even more awkward.
Oh, dag nabbit.
Oh, dang blabbit.
No, I take pictures for Dream Thief, and I didn't, so now I have to go back down where I
Dream
was.
Thief showing up? Who is that?
Yeah.
But now we have to sleep.
Well, I mean, I can't hear anybody showing up in the
Someone joined.
Discord.
Speak, Dream Thief.
It was Dio.
It was me,
Yeah, it's
Dio.
true.
Oh, I
no,
didn't
no.
want to close that application. No.
I love just how cartoonishly villainous that is. Doesn't gain Dio anything. It doesn't really lose Jonathan anything.
Doesn't really do anything. It's just him being a jerk.
Dream Thief, what coats a lot? What on earth are you talking about?
What are you talking about, coats a lot?
Did you mean
Costs.
costs? Okay, that's not what you
Costs.
spelled. 1, 2, what costs a lot?
The ring.
Oh, yes, I'm aware of that.
It's hard to create chat in real time when it's not in real time.
I'll be right back.
Yes, no, I'm aware of that. Alright, this isn't done, but I'm gonna send you a picture of it anyway because it's what I accomplished.
I am still at work, by the way. I'm
Why?
not about to get on.
Why am I walking up the manor stairs? I can't access
You have
the
an
roof.
elevator?
Well, I can't access the roof via the stairs, so it doesn't make sense to try to access the roof by the stairs.
The roof is on fire.
Yeah, got myself another mug of tea.
Pretty
I drank
soon,
a whole pot of tea tonight.
the roof won't be able to be on fire.
I'll have to clean it so that I can fill it again tomorrow.
Oh, trust me, it could be on fire.
You can't burn quartz.
Just not naturally. I can coat it in lava, and that's as good as close.
I mean, I already coated one of my roofs in lava, so...
To quote the cinematic masterpiece that is Hellsing Ultimate Abridged, is it on fire? It could be more on fire.
Okay, there we go. Dream Thief has
Could be
been
more on
sufficiently updated with the look of the house.
It could be more on fire. That is
Could
possible.
always be more on fire.
You're better off with some popcorn and a chair to watch your house burn down than to panic about it burning down.
That
Unless
happened to
you
my
lit it
dad
on
once.
fire, because then you're going to jail for insurance fraud.
That happened to my dad once because their house burnt down because they painted the living room.
Somebody light a match while the fumes were still fresh.
No, see, the person that owned the house before them was a DIY electrician.
Uh-oh.
And when they put the addition of, I think it was like a closed-in porch on the house, instead of running, like electrical wire through the walls, they ran extension cables.
Oh no.
Like, just expand, like, normal extension cords?
Like the $2 extension cables that you could get at the
Oh, wow.
dollar store.
You mean the things
Yeah.
I use to light my Christmas tree and nothing else?
Yeah, those are the walls. And so they painted the living room, and paint back then was quite flammable.
Right.
And
Your paint is flammable.
there was of course a spark that apparently caught because of the terrible electricity going through the walls, and they went out to eat, and when they came back, their house was on fire.
Oh boy.
As the indie band sang, house on fire, leave it all behind you.
That was part of a bigger conversation I was having with just people doing really dumb things. Like, I'm a professional grade idiot, and I wouldn't run cheap extension cables through the wall.
You don't have to be a cheap electrician to turn the main power off and run. You're already running through the wall. It's not that hard to buy a heavy grade electric cable, a junction box switch to add to your junction box, and run that sucker.
No, it's also not hard and really cheap.
More work to plug 6-foot cord after 6-foot cord into one another.
No, it's also not hard and really cheap. Sticking 2 pennies in your fuse box so that it can't shut off.
Oh my gosh.
Great way
my
to.
dad told me about that too.
Great way to bypass electrical surges and stuff, so you always maintain power.
I'm pretty sure that you would better get those pennies out before the insurance inspector comes when the house burns down.
I mean, on that note, I'm going to go.
It's basically the most surefire way to burn your house down.
Well, I guess some people like to get lit different ways.
It does, however, always maintain power. If power is running from the electric company, you will have power, no matter how many watts your microwave and stuff is.
It's stupid, though.
Which is fantastic until something overloads and explodes.
Yeah, which is not that hard because sometimes people didn't wire the kitchens very well. And, like, our house was not wired. It was safe, but it wasn't intelligent. The kitchen was not divided properly on the electrics. And they had all of the kitchen outlets on one breaker. So, when you turned the microwave on, and the oven was on, and the stovetops burners were all on, and the fridge was running, and the clock radio was on, if you turned a blender or something else like that on, you just trip the breaker every time.
Yep.
You want to hear about the worst thing that my dad told me about he finding in the house?
What?
Apparently, when the worst electrical thing that my dad ever of a house. He didn't specifically find it, but he and my mom were looking at buying a house that was really old, but it had been remodeled recently. And when they brought people in to do an inspections, what the guy found that they had done when they remodeled it was they hadn't replaced the electrical system from like the 1940s or 50s. What they had done is that they had just taken the wires, stripped them back a bit, and grafted new wires onto them to go to the other parts of the house.
Yep. Very common with bad electricians or cheap electricians.
And the inspector looked at that and went, "This house is going to catch fire."
Yep. We might be used to electricity, but it's kind of still dangerous.
Yeah.
Just a little.
It nearly killed me once. Did I ever tell you guys that story?
I don't think so.
Okay, so y'all ever been to Kosai?
Yes.
I'm not familiar with what that is.
Are you talking about isn't that like a science center, like Ohio, whatever. Or...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's the Columbus, Ohio Science something or
Yeah.
Science Institute.
Yeah, it's this big applied sciences museum that you can go through,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got all these different exhibits and such and games for kids where you can learn about science while playing games and doing cool stuff. It's got stuff for space, it's got stuff for gravity. The first thing you see when you walk in is this giant pendulum clock that
Mhm.
keeps track of the time. But one of the shows that they do there is a thing on static electricity and electromagnetism.
You touch the Tesla coil.
No one touched the Tesla coil. But they have this little...
Totally touched Tesla coil.
We didn't touch the Tesla coil. There was no Tesla coil.
Someone died.
No.
Did someone touch the Tesla engine?
No one touched the Tesla engine.
The Tesla engine doesn't exist, so
Well, you can make small versions of the Tesla turbine. It does
I
have.
know I was making a joke about the Tesla Motor Company that turned out to be a fraud.
Mm.
Sorry,
That thing was pretty obscure.
I was trying to be relevant.
Anyway, they do this show, and they have this thing. I don't know what it is or how it works exactly, but it generates static electricity,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually really harmless. Like, you put your hand on it, and your hair stands on it.
Right.
And there's a thing where if you put your one hand on it and you have like a ring on the other hand, and someone else with a ring gets really close to, there's a little tiny arc that jumps, and you get shocked a little bit. It's very funny. Then we did this thing where my dad put his hand on the machine, and they were gonna let it charge, and he was gonna reach out and like touch my brother's hand, and he was holding the hand of another person who was holding my hand, and I was holding someone else's hand, and it was going down the line to see how far the electricity could be felt. Multiple problems. One, they let that thing sit and charge for what seemed like way too long. And two, down at the end of the line, there was a child that was holding on to the metal guardrail for the ramp leading up to the stage.
And nobody told him to take his hand off?
Nobody told that small child to take their hand off of that rail.
Well, I can already tell you that electricity could be felt all the way down the line.
Yeah. So what's supposed to happen, because we had seen this show multiple times before, is that there's not supposed to be like a little electrical arc until the hands are like a few inches apart from each other. and then it can be felt like 3 or 4 people down the line, and it's just, ooh, that was tingly. What happened was a bolt of lightning about as big around as your thumb arced from my dad's hand to my brother's hand from about 1.5 feet away. And it hit every single person on that line. And I felt that in my chest for like the next hour.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh.
If it had been a bit stronger, news headline the next day: science demonstration at local facility kills 18 people.
No,
You
see,
get that sweet scar that lightning.
no, well, the voltage just got incredibly high, but the wattage was still like pretty similar, so it was never going to do that much damage.
You had a pacemaker, it might.
Well, okay, if you were a grandmother with a pacemaker, you know, ambulance call.
All right, Science Center kills grandma. There's
But that's pretty funny. Well, because the voltage is what you feel, and the wattage generally is what does the damage. That's a little bit untrue. You can, but until you get both of them pretty high, neither of them can really do much damage. Because wattage can't jump without voltage, and voltage doesn't do much damage on its own.
That's gonna hurt still, though.
Oh.
She said.
Well, voltage is what you feel, but wattage is what does the actual damage.
Oh, in my attempt to make a relevant comment, it frustrates me that you have two companies using one dude's name. It's Nikola Tesla, and the companies are Nikola and Tesla. Nikola is the one that had huge fraud. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
Nikola lied about a fake demonstration for a competitor to Elon Musk's 18-wheelers.
wait, so they were literally just off-brand Tesla?
No, they were no. They were going to have something new and inventive and be better, and it didn't exist. What they had on the stage at Nikola's presentation was literally just a prop and lies to prop the prop up with, or the prop was propping up lies.
That is what props do.
Sorry if anyone's watching and
What in the world?
was wondering why I was defaming Tesla Motor Company.
Let's see. It's the current that kills. It takes voltage to push current through your body. A higher voltage pushes a higher current. Wattage is volts multiplied by amp. You can't separate it out and say one of the three is more dangerous, which is more deadly. They'll fall from a great height or a sudden stop when you hit the ground. That's what you asked about the electricity. I've always understood it was wattage, which is... well, because
I've always understood that I'm not smart enough to understand electricity, so I don't try.
well, I don't touch things that, you know. Like
Yeah,
cathode ray
look, if-
tubes, you don't see me touching those things, the old ones. Those old CRT monitors, they used to hold, at least what I was told in school, is that they could hold enough charge, they could kill you even after they're unplugged.
Probably their
cathode
power supply.
the cathode televisions.
Those cathode ray.
Yeah, those
CRT.
things are dangerous on so many levels.
Those things are a bit
Technically-
radioactive.
Technically, your desktop computer unplugged, if you were stupid, could still kill you with an electric charge. You could turn it off, unplug it, and leave it unplugged for a month, and it'll still kill you.
Dumb ways to die.
So
that is why you do not see tech YouTubers showing you how to take the power supply apart. Because if you don't know what you're doing, and even many of the tech YouTubers don't know enough to even attempt it on their own off camera, then there is a charge stored in the power supply that will off you. So to any little Jimmies out there, don't ever play with the power supply. Just install it and leave it.
Aw, man, this thing's looking so good. I've gotten so far on this manor today.
I'm actually watching the stream, and I haven't been for a while.
Yeah, I know. I can see I can see the stream number. I can see that you left me.
The internet here is like 1 megabyte down a second. Okay, it was either turn the Steam channel or have the stream up, and the stream was still being interrupted quite frequently. And it had the low latency mode and the advanced options turned on too.
Oh, this guy's actually selling quartz at a reasonable price. And selling quartz.
Did you also take the landline off of so that nobody can kick you off by taking a phone call?
It's not actually on dial-up. It's just Frontier's garbage people that provide garbage internet. And they're intentionally metering it so that you can't ever get any teeny bit extra ever. Because we upgraded the router in the auditorium with them and upgraded the service. And it's 2 or 3 in the auditorium, which is necessary to stream Facebook. But the same internet lines in the building
Okay.
do not provide that straight speed in office.
Meanwhile, over here, we had an internet company that we had to specifically ask, hey, are we supposed to be paying you something? Like, can you send us a bill? They didn't send us a bill for, like, the first 3 months, I think.
Yeah, there was a mix-up with my company, and they actually shut my internet off, and I still didn't have a bill in hand. Thankfully, their automated phone system told me what I owed, and I was able to have speed again.
Nice. Okay. Well, I have apparently bought out the quartz.
Let's try this.
Alright. Apparently the sun is setting, but I think I have time to finish placing...
I have a suspicion what they're doing, what Frontier is doing. Because even if you have your own router, you have to register it with them, or it won't provide service through the modem and into the router, or just the router, depending on DSL versus cable internet. And I think what they do is, depending on which router you have registered, they throttle each individual device so that you cannot get an ounce more out of it than what you're supposed to. Which is frustrating, because when I've used my own equipment and registered it with various internet companies, I've always gotten probably double what they advertised as being possible.
Internet
Well,
companies
except for my...
Internet companies wouldn't engage in shady activities.
Yeah, there's not several lawsuits against Frontier or anything. I will say I need to actually correct that, because my current internet, I technically pay for a gigabyte down, and I only get 300 or 400. But it's fast enough, I don't complain. And I recognize that the hardware here in rural West Virginia that's buried in the ground probably does not support a gigabyte. Maybe if I was the only person that lived in Princeton, it might.
If you have it.
Reason why I don't try and get something that's equal to what they can actually provide is because my plan is a lifetime price payment plan.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, you can't ever raise me $5 and $10 every year. I've had Comcast. I know what that's like. I'll take the lifetime plan.
Comcast.
Fills me with joy that I don't have to deal with Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
I have AT&T, and honestly, I've never had an issue. Not really.
That's not true. That's a lie.
Solving puzzles in a van down by the river.
I recall when we tried that other Pathfinder software, that it was quite frustrating, and you were not able to maintain stably.
Now, that's because I don't pay for a lot of internet. That's a different thing. I get exactly what I pay for. I pay $40. I think I get more than what I pay for.
Alright, if somebody bids on this item one more time, then it's not worth eBaying it.
What you trying to get off of eBay?
So I already regret not really doing Christmas this last year. So I know this year I'm gonna be like hardcore, get everything out already. Which gives me plenty of time to fix the situation that occurred Christmas of 2020 when I'd had trains on the floor before, and I'd had a tree up before, but I'd never done a train layout under a tree before. And my parents gave me all these porcelain houses and stuff to go on this train board they weren't using anymore. And Lucy kept working her way back and forth under the tree across the train board, and almost did damage several times to the little porcelain houses. And she is much bigger than the train. She doesn't really mess with the train, but I decided to solve all situations and go from the already large O scale that I run to the garden-sized trains. So I'm starting to work my way into getting some track and rolling stock and stuff together.
We'll see. I said I see.
Oh, okay. I've ended up in a couple bidding wars already. And already lost something. Something go wrong with what you were trying to fix? Something go wrong with what?
My computer. I just need a better computer. I mean, it's a good computer. But my next goal is to buy a computer that will last me for a little bit. That's
That's why.
I want minimum. I want a 3080.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have heard the prices are dropping, but I don't know what they're gonna do with the war on now, and the economy is no longer as stable as it was. If you guys saw that picture I put up in the general chat of both channels.
Hey, I'm more worried about our government than I am about a war over in Europe between Ukraine and Russia.
Oh, I'm not worried about the war, but our economy is doing stupid things because of it.
Wow. I think
they are blaming it on that.
Yes.
The gas prices. Now, a lot of the other stuff, I can see some of it, because the wheat prices are also up really high, because the imports from Russia on that have been pretty much cut as well.
Well,
so that's going to affect
Ukraine
food
is
separate from what gas was already going to do.
Ukraine's the one that produces wheat.
Well, Russia does too.
Well, a little bit.
And big chips.
I'll be right back.
So definitely Biden's banning and removing of oil and gas leases on federal land and canceling Keystone was gonna bring us here eventually. But it would have been slower if we were still importing Russian oil and didn't cut that off instantly.
Well, if you listen to his, I don't know, what like the energy department or whatever, like the lady who's in charge of that, it's like, you know, this is the hiccup that comes when you're trying to convert from, you know, to a clean energy, essentially.
The hiccup doesn't happen if you don't turn off the oil taps all at once.
Well, that's their plan.
Oh, well, they're a bunch of idiots. Like we didn't already know that, but these are the same people that lauded Greta Thunberg, so I don't really want to give them the time of day if I don't have to.
How dare you?
Like this little 14-year-old girl making sad faces, or whatever age she is, making sad faces about the world ecology doesn't really do anything for me. Doesn't convince me to change anything. She just looks ignorant. Good job, parents.
Well, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything. She's like got autism and all that other crap. So I'm like,
No, she doesn't.
yeah, she does.
Not in reality.
No, I'm not even like disparaging. She actually has like a ton of mental problems.
I don't
But
believe
from what I
that.
understand.
I'm not going to do the research, but I'm still going to press X to doubt.
I think that's.
That's just how the world works. You have to suck it up.
She has Asperger syndrome and obsessive compulsive disorder, and selective mutism.
What?
Selective mutism?
I try to accept many of the different types and names of various mental things, but selective mutism is. I need to hear the definition because I'm confused and close to pressing X.
She doesn't talk unless she needs to. That's what she says.
She doesn't talk on what she needs to or when she needs to.
She doesn't talk unless she has to.
Okay. That sounds more related to some kind of childhood abuse, though. Although I guess plenty of mental conditions are.
So,
I'll let her have that one. I won't press X.
really? That's the one I doubt the most. She did nothing but talk. What?
Yes, but she may be compelled to speak and speak when she's in front of a camera. There you have two people.
I can see her having Asperger's and obsessive compulsive disorder. Asperger's, sorry. But what? No, I maybe, but what?
Yeah, but we see her talking in front of people, and it may be where she's one of those people that talks when a camera's in front of her and says really stupid things, but just keeps talking. Then you have the type of person that can't say anything once the lights and camera are on. And then you have people like prayerfully most well-adjusted preachers that are normal on camera.
I can see her having, like I said, I can see her having,
Asperger's and OCD?
Yes, but talking is what she was known for.
She's known for a single speech.
No.
And then a lot of stupid comments that she's made online. And her sailing the Atlantic thing or whatever that was. She did something with sailboats. That's about as memorable as whatever it was. I don't even remember if it was to protest anything or if she was just going sailing.
So wait, they came up with a name for a disease where you don't talk unless you have to?
They what?
You have to define have to. And have to
Isn't that just called being
I
quiet?
think
Like
it's
being a
I think
quiet
it's
person?
I think they're connecting it to her Asperger's.
Okay.
That's possible. It may be the Asperger's that is selecting the mutism. Just trying to give benefit of the doubt there. I can't throw everyone I ever meet under the bus. Not that I've met her. I feel like Uncle Iroh having tea with Toph. Not that I like you, I just met you. Man, I could go for a cup of tea right now. Although it is a little warm in this office to drink anything hot.
Here I am waiting on somebody to go to bed who's not currently in the
Yeah, Job
in the room.
departed at some point.
Is
He is not fresh. I'll be interested to see what my weight does in the next couple of weeks. Supposedly, diet soda contributes to insulin resistance, which is bad for gaining weight and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been off of it for definite go down again,